Hey guys, this is Mel's Weight Loss, and this is Melissa, and I was watching some of my old videos again because I like to go back to the videos when I was around 268, 270 because that was the lowest I ever was able to get as an adult, you know? But, I was watching this one video where I completely get angry and start cussing at myself because I guess I had probably ate really bad that day, and I was trying to break the 270s. And I had, and that's about the spot I always mess up is around 268, 270, and I start gaining all the weight back. And I was beating myself up, and I was telling myself not to, mess up and all this stuff. But then when I go back and watch the videos, probably a month or two later, I did exactly that, and I messed up, and I started gaining all the weight back. So there's something, I don't know what it is, but there's something there in the back of my mind where I start gaining the weight back when I hit about 270. It's like I start getting frustrated. I guess because I have so much to lose, and that's about the halfway point for me. But I guess it's because I have so much to lose. And maybe possibly, I was thinking about this. I've always been real tomboyish. And maybe possibly that was around. That's also around the time when I start getting a lot of attention that I don't want. Nothing ever happened to me as a kid. I was never, molested or anything like that. Thank goodness. But I don't know what it is. It's just. I don't know what it is. I've always been kind of the kind of person that's like that doesn't like people to touch them and stuff too much or get in my zone or whatever. But I don't know. Nobody's ever done anything to me. So I was treated really well as a kid. The only thing I can think of, and I know this is probably a touchy subject for a lot of people, is growing up, I went through so much with sicknesses in my family, with my parents, losing my parents and all that stuff throughout the years that maybe I don't like to get too close to people or get too attached to people because I feel like I might lose them. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe that's the reason. And now that I come out and say it, maybe that's a really good possibility. And that might be what it is subconsciously. I start getting this attention. People say, oh, if they never gave you the attention before, then they only like you, for your appearance. Which may be true, but, it happens. So maybe when I start getting all this attention, when I lose weight and people wanting to be my friends, to talk to me, flirt with me, or whatever, maybe it's my way of pushing people away because I don't want to get close to them. That's a very, very touchy subject. And that's very sad, honestly. I need to work on that. I really do. I've always been that way. Like, with my friends and stuff. And family. I don't like having a lot of people together at once. It's weird. I'd rather be one-on-one, but then I always have this in my mind that maybe I'm smothering them and all this stuff. Or maybe I shouldn't get too close to a lot of people. I don't know. It's really hard. So going into this, I need to keep in mind that 268, 270 is where I start messing up normally. And I can't let it happen. So instead of cussing myself out like I did in the last time, I'm going to have a serious conversation with you, Melissa. Mel. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the future. Don't be afraid of meeting new people. Don't be afraid of the attention. Take it as a compliment. Don't be afraid of it. And don't be afraid of the changes when it comes to yourself as well. Just because you start feeling possibly more confident or more attractive or whatever, don't fear that, you know? Don't fear what people think, because a lot of people will try to bring you down, and a lot of people will get jealous, and a lot of people will confuse your confidence as being cocky, or there's many ways to put that, conceited. So don't let that bother you. And when people start asking you a lot of questions about how you're losing the weight, just be blunt. Don't be like, don't be wishy-washy. Just be like, calories in, calories out. It usually stops the conversations. Because people are always looking for this miracle cure. That's not the way it works. And maybe don't talk about your diet all the time. Maybe that gets on their nerves, and maybe they want to sabotage you because you're driving them nuts. And also, Melissa, make sure you remember the discomfort, the pain that's associated with being morbidly obese. When I'm at work for these 9-hour shifts, especially on the holidays, and it's really, really busy, I will get in the car after I'm done, and when it comes time to get out, my feet are so sore, my knees are sore. Like today, I tried to do a workout. I'm too stiff, I'm too sore. Remember how hard it is to get around people at work. You have to completely stop and let them get around you because you're so big, and that's all you can do. You work better by yourself because you're not big enough to get around other people, so you slow them down. You're so big that when it's very hot at work because you're moving around so much that you get really exhausted, and more exhausted than everyone else. Remember that you're so big and you don't feel good, and you're the biggest one at work. That's a big one. I am the biggest person at work. I've always been the biggest person in my classes in high school and elementary school. Not so much in college. There is a few people bigger than me. Just a few. Very sad. But don't cuss yourself out, Melissa. It's okay. Just don't mess it up. Just keep going. Don't give in to temptations. Just eat like a normal person, not a supersized person. Remember what serving sizes are. Remember, you don't have to eat everything that's in front of you. It will be there tomorrow, I promise. Remember, people don't want you to leave them behind. You don't want to die before your older relatives, you know? I'm technically the 9th child, but I have 7 living older siblings. I don't want to die before all of them. I don't want to put them in that much pain, you know? You got to get this weight under control. You also want to finish your college and get you a really good job. And as sad as it might be, if you don't lose the weight, Melissa, you're less likely to be picked for certain jobs, because people don't even realize it, but they do pick the more slim or attractive people than the fatty, because subconsciously a lot of people think fat people or obese people are lazy, and they don't want lazy people on the job. Remember that. You want to be thin by the time you graduate so you can get those good jobs. You do. It's a sad thing, but that's how it works. And You just want to feel better. You want your skin to get better. You want to be able to do things you never got to learn to do. I've never, just like the old video, I'm not going to beat myself up for it though. I've not been able to learn to swim like I want because of being self-conscious. I've not been able to learn how to ride a skateboard because of being self-conscious. I can't jump on a trampoline. I love trampolines. I used to jump on them a little bit when I was little, but I started getting so big that I almost broke one once, so I quit getting on them. I'm talking the big trampolines. I want to get one of those someday. Even though I'm an adult, it still looks so much fun. I want to do that. And then I want to learn so many things, and I want to do so many things, and I want to get on rides. I've never, like most of my life, from say 12-year-old and up, I've not been able to get on certain rides and go to certain events, and I would like to ride a plane and not feel uncomfortable because I know the person beside me will be upset about having to share space on their side. I don't want to get that big to where I end up having to buy 2 seats. I've never been in a plane because I'm worried that I won't fit properly and have to get an extension on my seatbelt. That would be so embarrassing, don't you think? And one of the things that motivated me this time to lose some weight, to get back on my weight loss journey, was I was almost too big for my car seatbelt. And now I have, just from losing the weight that I have about an inch or 2 space. So I'm losing it right in my belly, which is good. So, Melissa, just remember how bad you feel today. You feel bad. You're tired. You're sore. Oh, and don't forget, before you started your weight loss journey, every time you would get off from work and get in the car, you would park outside your house and fall asleep. Your sugar was probably really high. Never been diagnosed with diabetes, but there's a big and high possibility that I have type 2 diabetes, and just cutting down has made me feel better. I don't do that no more, so maybe I have it under control. My goal is to get down to what I was at my last doctor's visit before I actually go to the doctor. I know that sounds horrible, but that's what I'm wanting to do. I think I was 285 the last time I went to the doctor. So I want to get down to 285 before I go back to the doctor. I've not had any major issues. When I had the upper respiratory infection and sinus infection, I went to the doctor. I called the doctor, and he suggested a few things. I didn't really go to the doctor. So I'm going to go. Once I get down to the weight I want to get to, I'm going to go to the doctor. I want to talk to him about seeing a nutritionist, and talk about some of my issues with maintaining weight loss. And I also need to lose weight again for a short film that me and some people are going to be working on. So that's what I want to do. I know I'm rambling and stuff, but I just need to talk. I just need to talk to you all. And to myself. See how I almost take up all the space on the camera? I don't know if it'll turn out this way, but from what I see, I'm taking up almost all the space on the camera. I don't want to I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be thin. I don't want to be fat no more. Whereas in my last weigh-in, I was 344 pounds. That's a lot of weight. I'm hoping to get down to about 340 by the next weigh-in. That would be great, wouldn't it? I would really like to get down to 300 before I start back school. I don't think that's going to happen, though. But that's what I'm hoping for. My belly's digesting. You enjoying your watermelon? Oh. He's enjoying his watermelon. When I'm done with it, I always give him the bowl so he can drink the water out of it. He loves it. He's a good boy. He is. But, I hope I've not bored you all to death. But I really want to lose this. Need to lose this. Need to get rid of it. What the heck? But I was looking at my old videos and I was so thin right here. And I got rid of all this. I looked so much better. Those videos motivate me. I want to give you the weights of most of my family members. My oldest sister is like 240 something. My second oldest sister is like 130 pounds. My third oldest sister is about probably 220. And then my brother is like 250 or 260. I have a sister that's 275. I have one that is 240. And then I have one that's like 120. And then you have me, 344. The biggest one out of 9 kids. Oh my goodness, why? I remember being 200 pounds when I was 12. I remember being 150 pounds when I was 8. I think she was actually like 151 when I was 8. And I remember the kids saying, "Oh my God, that's a big number." And I was so shy. I hated that. I don't know why they let us do that. Oh, the 90s. And then I remember graduating high school at 307. And I remember getting up to 342. And I remember losing down to 268. I remember gaining up to 321. And then losing again down to 270 or something like that. 268, I don't remember. And then gaining up to 361. And now I'm down to 344. Oh my goodness. I remember all of that stuff. This is just my rant video to myself. Just talking. I need to talk to myself sometimes. You're going to lose the weight this time, Melissa, and you're going to keep it off. Excuse me. Because this time is different. How is it different? Because I've acknowledged everything that I did wrong in the past. I understand why I did all that wrong for the most part. Emotional eating, binge eating, not liking the attention too much because I wasn't used to it. I do like the attention, but I just wasn't used to it. It was overwhelming at the time. And then feeling like you have to have a cheat day. I've had 2 cheat days in a month. It wasn't really cheat days. I've only had 1 cheat day, and that was during my vacation. So I'm going into this without the expectation of having cheat days. I'm not having cheat days, period. I will have days when I eat things that I shouldn't, but I'm not going to go over my calories. Because cheat days aren't healthy. And I seen that toward the last month or two of before I fell off the wagon, I had came to the realization that I shouldn't have cheat days, and I'm going to stick with that. And I'm also decreasing my calories instead of bumping up my exercise because I'm already so active. Um, I went on my Fitness Pal and I changed a little bit of my settings and now I'm only going to eat 1,900 calories a day. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And if I don't lose weight and my body goes in starvation mode, I will bump up my calories. But for now, I am going to eat 1,900 calories because I haven't got a chance to really exercise and I want to get more of this weight off. So we'll see. I'll probably end up bumping up my calories when I actually start by exercising. Oh, that's the goal. Want to lose this. I've noticed that since I have started losing weight, I'm breathing better. Not a lot. I'm not snorting. I think I was starting to get I forget what's called, walking sleep apnea. When I was doing this little thing while I was awake. I'm not doing that. Oh. Ah. So I'm pretty happy about that. Gotta fix that. And I'm not feeling hungry. I'm not having the cravings like I did before. I think I'm onto something. I think something's finally clicked in my head. I think I've really understand why I did so many things in the past. Why. Okay, I'm going to go into a little bit about, if you're still watching, I love you. You don't even know. We're best friends. Yeah. But I'm going to go into a little bit of my past and my parents' past. Let's start with my parents. My mom and dad were born in 1940 and 1941. They lived in a really poor family, especially my dad. So let's talk more about my dad. And some of it applies to my mom, but not as much. But my dad's family were so poor that when my grandpa actually got paid enough for the work he was doing, everything was under the table at that time. You know, it was the 40s and 50s. He would get paid, and he would send the kids, my dad and his brothers, out to get bread or groceries. And they were so poor, they would eat half of the bread before they got home. They didn't get in trouble because, you know, they understood why they did it. But my dad said a lot of times, and I know this is true, but a lot of times they would only eat one meal a day, and it wasn't that much. And they would go to bed hungry. And they had to work in they had to grow their own stuff in the garden and all this and that. So they pretty much lived off like souping and cornbread and things like that. And where he grew up so poor and so hungry all the time, when he was older and actually making his own money, and him and my mom would buy like a lot of food and junk food and stuff. And then my dad got a lot of help. My mom was a housewife, and she would do like housekeeping and all this stuff. And my dad, he started experiencing health problems and stuff and couldn't work. So they ended up getting, food stamps, or what they call now EBT. So they would get the food stamps and stuff once a month. And because they grew up so hungry and so poor, and so did my siblings pretty much, that when they would get those food stamps once a month, they would eat as much as they can, and as fast as they can, because they thought if they don't, then they won't get any for later. They had that mentality. And even though I'm the youngest, and most of my siblings were grown by the time I was born, and it was a lot easier I was taught that mentality to every time they got any kind of food in the house to eat it as much as I could and as fast as I could before it was all gone, because you might not have it tomorrow. But the thing is, when I was young, we had a lot more money and plenty of food. So I was constantly eating like I wasn't going to have it. Because that's what I watched my sisters and brothers do when a couple of them were teenagers. And that carried on from when I was really small to all my life. But I make decent money now. I'm a manager at a restaurant. I make decent money, and I'm able to get what I want when I want. So the mentality that I need to eat it all at once is silly. And so it's weird to me right now. It is weird to me that I have all this food in the house and I'm not wanting it. I don't need it. And I don't have the cravings for it. I got a big ice cream cake in the house. In the freezer, I have chicken. I can just bake it, barbecue it, whatever if I wanted to. And I even bought a grill. It would make it really easy. I got so much Nutella, cereal, and things. All a bunch of stuff that I used to binge eat all the time. I got peanuts. I got raisins. It's just, I don't need it. There's no point. There's no point. I'm at work. I could be eating food constantly. That's what I was doing. But I don't have that in me to do that. All these mistakes, they give them away. I used to eat a lot of those mistakes. Now I'm throwing them away. I'm like, here, who wants it, blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants it. I throw it away. I don't eat it. It's crazy how things change. I don't want it. I don't need it. Yeah, it's good for the moment, and then after you eat all that stuff, you feel bad. You hate yourself. You hate the whole world. There's no point. There's no point. It's just so silly, to eat all that stuff. What's the point? If you're religious, I'm a little bit religious. I'm not bad religious, but if you believe in the Bible and what it means and what it says, then you know what gluttony is. I might have went over this before. I don't know. Gluttony is overeating or overindulging in things, and I guess it could be gluttony. Could also be non-food related. If you do anything in excess, I guess that could be gluttony. And I think it is a sin to be overeating. That's my opinion, and I respect your opinion as well. I'm not going to argue with anyone. But to me, gluttony is what I was doing. And I want to be a better person, and I want to, I don't claim to be Christian, but I want to follow the Bible as much as I can. I want to, even if you think of it in a non-religious way, it's still a good moral, because there's so many people in this world that's starving, and you're being greedy when you're overeating. You're being greedy because you could be sharing that. Someone in a third world country could be eating that. When I'm at work and I see all the food that we waste, I'm like, you know how many people we could feed with this? It's so sad. We are so blessed to live in the country that we live in, but all the food that we waste, it's crazy. I wish there was a way of helping people with the food that's left over. And I know there is, but I don't know the steps to go to do anything about that. Because a lot of fast food restaurants don't let you donate the food that's left over, because they'll get, if something's wrong with it, they'll get the crap sued out of them. You can't do anything nice without being sued. That's just the way it is. I'm at 30 minutes. I don't even know what all I've talked about. I want to keep talking. I feel like my mentality's changed. I don't think I've felt this clear, I don't think I've ever had these full conversations with myself out loud to the point where I understand where I messed up all these times. It's nuts. Do you know why you've always messed up? I think there's a lot of things. I think it's human nature to want to indulge every now and then and celebrate. But we need to realize that the food is going to be there tomorrow. What's so great about food? I think I would much rather be physically able to do the things that I've always wanted to do than to just go out and eat a pizza. That just seems so silly now that I think about it. You're trading your health and the way you feel for a temporary high, just like drugs, for a temporary high that you will regret and will make you feel bad afterwards. It's so silly. It's greedy. It's silly. It's just wrong. What's wrong with eating small portions and and enjoying them, chew them slower? What's wrong with just eating to be satisfied and not eat to be full? What is it about some people like me where we feel like we need to eat so much that we're full? Is that a comfort thing? Maybe we're filling in a gap in our life. Very sad stuff. Again, my dad passed away when I was 15. My mom had her stroke when I was 8. She died when I was 20. Maybe it's something to fill in a gap. I'm going to go into something else. When I was 8, my mom had a stroke. So my dad had to take over raising me. So I only grew up pretty much with one parent raising me. My mom was permanently disabled and mentally and physically from the stroke. She had a really bad one. My dad took over. He was an alcoholic at the time. He almost lost us, and he didn't want to lose us, and he decided to straighten up, and he quit drinking and took care of us. So addictive personalities runs in the family, whether it be weight or alcohol. And I have some cousins that are on drugs and stuff. But not having my mother and losing, what she was at such a young age, I think it really, because she was the strict parent. My dad was he wasn't strict at all. So losing my mother, I was always heavy. I was always overweight and everything. But after I lost what my mother was, with the stroke, I think I used food to fill in that gap, and I went from just being chubby. I think when she had a stroke, I was probably like 140. I gained up to 150 during my 3rd grade year. Actually, how did that go? before she had her stroke, she had put me on a diet, and I had lost some weight. I think I got down to like 130 or something from 150. And I was about to go into 4th grade when she had her stroke. And then when she had her stroke, because I didn't have that, strict mother making sure that I was going to be losing weight and stuff, I just started eating everything because she could no longer, watch what I ate and stuff. And my dad, like I said, he grew up so poor, he thought I should be able to eat what I want. He was uneducated, and he didn't realize that it was hurting me. So, I honestly think that I used food to fill in the gap of losing my mom at such a young age. Because after she had a stroke, I gained a bunch of weight. And I was overweight. I was obese. And when my dad died when I was 15, I started gaining even more weight, and I became morbidly obese. I went from 250, 260, as a 15-year-old, up to 307 as an 18-year-old. It's a lot of weight. It's very sad stuff. It's very sad. But if you've watched this whole video, I really appreciate it. I can just ramble on and on and on about my problems. But I'm trying to figure out, and I think I have, my triggers and the reasons why I overeat. And I think I got it. I think I got it. But we'll see, right? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to share if you want. And this is Mel's Weight Loss. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye, guys. Oh, and if you watched this whole video, thumbs up. Just say thumbs up. Yeah. Bye, guys.